Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs, and today we're going to make Anna from Frozen. And the colours we're going to need are a caramel for her hair. I'm using a skin tone, a light flesh skin tone, some black bands, some navy bands, and I'm using some turquoise bands. And I'm going to use the rose bands for her cape. I don't really have a colour suitable for her cape other than that, so that's what I'm going to use. We're going to use a single loom. It's going to be in an offset position, which means columns 1 and 3 are slightly lower than column 2, and the open part of the peg is going to be facing towards us, or if you have arrows, it's the arrow that is going to be facing toward us. We're going to be double banding, and double banding means you take 2 bands and you place them on the peg together as if they were one, like this. So let's get started. You're also going to need 2 mini pony beads, and I'm using black, and they will be for her eyes because they are what I have at the moment. You can use bands, you can use different types of beads, really doesn't matter. Now I'm going to use 3 bands for her neck. I'm going to use a single band as a crossover for the lower part of her face. It goes across these 3 pegs here like a triangle. I'm going to take a single band and I'm going to twist it once, twice and 3 times and place over the pegs where I'm going to put the eyes. And that's to stop the eyes from falling to the back of her head. I'm using my 2.75 crochet dude hook to thread my beads on, but if you are using something smaller, use a threader or some floss. If you're using bands, feel free to just use whatever hook you like, really. Place the beads over these 2 pegs, and then you're going to split the band in 2. And the top part of the band is going to go on this peg here, and it acts as a crossover band for us. Okay, so next we're going to start using some turquoise for her shirt. And she's also wearing a little black vest. So we'll work this out. There we go. I'm going to do black here, oops, and here. I'm going to do another pair, where did that just go? Another pair of blue from here to here, and then we're going to do black. We need 4 down the sides. That's 3, and that's 4. And actually I'm only going to do 3 because I'm going to start merging into the navy blue. So 3 on each side, not 4. I'm going to do the black here. Alright, and I'm going to use some navy. Oh, that's a horrible band. As my 4th one. Like that. And then skin tone for her legs. Now she's wearing boots, so I'm not going to do the skin tone all the way to the bottom because I like her to wear some boots. So I'm going to get black and I'm going to put 2 bands here on the end as black. So grabbing my hook, I'm going to take 2 black bands and wrap them once and twice, and I'm going to slide those onto another 2 black bands. I just put hand cream on. I hate when I do that, it's so silly. I'll spread these out so they're even. Reclaim your bands onto your hook, and then let's do that again. Another 2 black bands. Now normally we would slide these onto 2 flesh tone, but because they're boots we're sliding onto 2 black bands. Take the first one we made and slide the 2 closest to the end of the hook off onto that second pair of black bands and swap places like that, and then move these ones up so everything is on this pair of black bands. Reclaim your ends and we will pop that here on the end of her leg. Let's do the other side. Pair of black bands, twist once and twice, slide onto a pair of black bands. Reclaim the end of your bands onto your hook. Pair of black bands, wrap it once and twice, and we will slide onto a pair of black bands. Then taking the 2 closest to the end, move them up and over onto those black bands. Swap places with these black bands and do the same here, move them over. Reclaim the end of your bands, point the shoe the other way, and we will pop that here. We're going to use a skin tone band to go across these 3 pegs, and we're going to move this bit here up over the top of that peg. We're going to take a single blue band and stretch it, make a figure 8, loop it on itself, and that is going to go across here. Then we're going to use black bands if I can get some. Oh, there we go. Take a single black band, stretch it, figure 8, loop it on itself, and that goes across these 3. Again, up here, stretch it on itself, and that goes on those 3, and we'll do one here, but we're not going to loop it, we're just going to place it like that. Now for her hands, we're going to take a single flesh tone band, wrap it once and twice, and slide it onto a pair of flesh tone bands, and we're then going to use 4 pair of the turquoise. So 1, and this is just doing a chain on your hook, 2, 3, 4. That's going to go on this shoulder here. Let's do the same on the other side. A single flesh tone, wrap it once and twice, slide it onto 2 flesh tone, and reclaim your bands. Now we want 4 pair of the turquoise. So 1, 2, 3. I can see that's a bit tangled. I'm going to straighten that up before I go further. 3, and this is our last one, 4. Okay, so you end up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bands for an arm. Whoops, sorry. And that goes on the other side. Okay, now I'm going to get some gold bands to just go from here to here. So grabbing a couple of gold bands, I'm going to have this link from here, whoopsie, here to here, and from here to the other arm. And then also I'm going to do it from here to here, and from here to here. Now it might very well get covered by the skirt, but if you change skirts, that's fine too. For her hair, she has 2 braids. Take a single band, caramel colour, wrap your hook around it twice, and we will do 2 bands to slide onto. Another 2, and we'll probably do about, I think, 8. Another 2, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what, we'll do 7 because that's how many I have there. 7 pair. We're going to put this side here by her eye. We're going to skip the next loop and move down to the 3rd one and place that there on her jaw. Let's do the same on the other side. Single band, wrap it once and twice, and we're going to slide on 7 pair. So this is our first pair, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn her around, and this hair goes here. Skip that second peg and go to the 3rd one, and that goes by her jaw. Okay, so we're ready to loom up. We're going to pull her shoe back, her boot back, and grab those 2 black bands and loom up. Okay, and we loom her legs. Push back the crossover bands with the back of your hook so that you can get to the bottom 2 bands. Loom this one up, and now you're going to loom the gold ones, the top 2 gold, over to one side. Whoops, let's not lose that. I'm going to push that down so I can fit my bands on it. There we go, push that one down too, and over to this side, and then loom up and up. Dig down and find the 2 black bands here, and we'll loom these up to the shoulder. Like that. Now we're going to loom these top 2 bands. Oh, I knew that would happen. Sometimes it's easier to just pull the two back so that you can see them like this. So take the top two and loom up to here, and these two of course I drop one. Okay, so that one looms to there, and that one looms to there. It's not good to drop bands. These loom up. Let's do the arms. Dig down and find the two bottom turquoise ones. If it's tight, wiggle your hook around the outside of the bands and it'll loosen things up for you. Push the crossover band back, grab the two turquoise, loom up and loom up. Take the two top flesh tone and loom across, and then next top two and loom across. Now we're going to take her hair off our loom and hold it in one hand, dig down, find the two skin tone bands and loom them up and replace our bands. Dig down, find the two hair colour bands and loom up. Do the same this side. Take the hair off, hold them out to the side, dig down, find the two bottommost flesh tone bands and loom up. Replace your hair onto the peg by the eyes. Dig down, find the two hair coloured bands and loom up. Loom up the centre of her face and her hair, and then we're going to get two caramel coloured bands and tie her hair off. Poke your hook through the middle here, put the two bands on, twist your hook so that the smooth side is going against those bands and pull the bands to the outside of the peg. Take the two closest up, over and off, pull tight. We're ready to take her off the loom. So we have her off the loom. Now, if you don't like the gold bands here, you can just cut them off, but I'm going to be leaving mine on. I'm going to even them up a bit. And because we've made her hips very small, these bands do look quite big on her. So as I said, if you don't like them, chop them off. Or one band and double loop it instead, but I just think it gives a little bit of definition to her waistcoat. Okay, so I'm going to loop the hair at the back here and grab the two loops, pull them back through so I can discreetly hide her hair at the back here, like that. I'm going to start making her skirt, and I'm going to do that on the monster tail, and it's just going to be navy blue, but I will do the first row in black. So I'm going to take a black band and twist it into a figure 8, and I'm going to do that all the way around, and that will be my first layer. That, and then all subsequent layers are just going to be navy blue, and they're not going to be twisted, so you're just going to place navy blue bands on the monster tail like this. Now if you don't have a monster tail, I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel that shows you how to make one of these skirts on a single normal loom. And it shows you how to do Cinderellas, but all you have to do is change the colour of the bands and it will work for any of the princesses. So that's layer number 2. We're going to do 3 layers, so let's do layer number 3. And this will then make it look like we have 6 bands on each peg. Okay, now the next thing is to take a hook, and what we're going to do is take the 2 bottom bands up, over and off, so that we're just left with 4 bands on instead of 6. So work your way around, pulling these bands off our loom. Like that. Make sure everything is pushed down. Next we're going to do our next layer, which is layer number 4. Now we need 16 layers, so I tend to use a post-it note and jot down what layer I'm on, because I have a memory like a sieve. So this is number 4. Push it all down. And now again you're going to take the 2 bottom ones and lift them up and off, and you're going to keep doing this until we reach 16. So let's pause the video, you pause yours, I'll pause mine, and we will meet up again when we're both on row 16. So I have looped up my 16th row, and I now have 4 bands left on each peg. So I'm going to take the bottom 2, and even though I had just looped up the 16th row, I'm going to loop these ones up too, which leaves me then with 2 bands on each peg. Like that. Now, grabbing a hook, I'm going to take these off my loom, like that, and I'm going to grab 2 bands, tie the 2 bands in a knot. We're going to thread these loops onto those 2 bands. Pull through, and now I'm going to reclaim the end of my band. I'm going to push the top one over and off like that. Now I'm going to put my hook under the loop that's under there, and I'm going to tie a knot between these 2 ends. Okay, like that, and you'll be left with a little loop at the back, and that's perfectly fine. Grab your spoon. We're sliding this onto our spoon, and we're going to make sure that all of these are evenly spaced like that, and then we're going to grab our little doll and we will pop her legs inside the spoon like that, and we're going to push her down as if she's almost having a sleep. Okay, as we pull the spoon out, there are her little feet for her boots. Make sure that her little waistcoat can be seen. I'm going to take my hook and poke it up the back of her dress and pull that black loop down. Now this needs to be up a little higher because I can see her legs through there. In order for her to stand up, you need to push her feet inside her dress, and then she'll be able to stand perfectly well. Now she also has a little cape, and to make that we're going to use a single loom. You are going to need your Rainbow Loom hook, which has the base removal tool on the end of it, and I'm using the rose colour, so all rows are the same height, and we're going to be double banding. The arrow is facing towards you. If you don't have an arrow, the open part of the peg is facing toward you. We're going to go down 6, so 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, 5 and 6. We do the same for column 2, actually let's extend that, let's make it 8. It'll just be a little bit longer, but not too long. And lay the bands for column 3. All of these need to have crossover bands, so take a single band and stretch it across. And we need end caps on all of these as well, so take a single band and wrap it around your finger twice. Oops, let's try that one again. So we're going to loom up columns 1 and 2. That's 1. Here is 2. We are not going to loom up column 3. We're going to get a holding hook, and we're going to take column number 1 off the loom. We're now going to move this column. Now you might notice that I have my bases. The first one is covering the 3, the third one is covering the 3, but the middle one has this extra line here. It's not covering the first one. Now if yours is, turn your loom over, undo it with your hook and budge it across so that you've got this area here to take your column of pegs off and move forward. Next we're going to use the bands to make column 4. Now we need 6 columns. Drag your crossover bands over so that that new column is included. And we will put an end cap here. And we will now loom up the middle column, but not the last one. Okay, we'll take the second column off the loom, and we now need to budge these little ones up like that. And we will then take this first column off our loom and move it forward and lay the bands for column number 5. Let's drag our crossover bands over and put an end cap on here and loom up the middle column. We can now take column 3 off the loom. Turn your loom over and move the big base. Oops, sorry. Move that over, and now move this column for column 6, and this is our last column. So let's lay the bands. Pull our crossovers over, do our last end cap, and now we can loom up both 5 and 6. So loom both of these columns up. And let's take the rest of these off the loom. A bit more violent than I expected. Alright, so now we're going to take a single band and we're going to thread all of these over onto that single band. Like that. I'm just going to hold this on there for the minute. I'm actually going to swap hooks. I hate the hook that one's on. That's my holding hook only because it's got such a sharp edge to it. I'm going to take another single band. I'm going to find the last two bands that were on this and pop it back on my hook. Taking the single band, I'm going to slide both of those ends onto it. I'm going to reclaim the end, take the closest one up, over and off and pull tight. Okay, like that. I'm going to do the same this side. I'm going to take the two that are at the end, get another single band, slide those on, reclaim the end of my band and tie this off nice and tight. Okay, this is effectively going to be my cape. So taking my doll, I'm going to take both loops of at the end of the cape like this. Get her hair out of the way, my goodness me. And I'm going to tie them in, you guessed it, my favourite, a knot. There's one, and I want to do it one more time to make it more secure. And then I'm going to hold both the bow and the band and tighten it like that. And there we have her cape on a standing, whoop, let's push our feet in, on a standing doll. Oh, the cape's making her heavy, I need to lean her forward a bit. There we go. There we go. I hope you enjoy making Anna.